Part 4 of the mysterious lot of land that Donald Trump owns in Florida's wetlands. This is going to focus on Jonathan Napolitano. Now, you have to watch the last video I made in order to understand the segue into this video, but I'll recap. Again, the property outlined in blue is directly across from Donald Trump's plot of land in Sebring, Florida, which has the red X in it. And one of the current grantees by way of final judgment on that property is Pinot 1V LLC, whose current registered agent is Jonathan Politano, authorized person TWJ Pan Florida, which is a Florida limited liability company managed by Jerome Hollow, the son of the late Tibber Hollow, who was a real estate pioneer in Miami and Edgewater. Now, with regards to Jonathan Politano, I thought that maybe he was only a part of this one LLC with the late Tibber Hollow's son, Jerome Hollow. I thought that maybe this was just a one-time thing. But then I dug a little deeper and found that Jonathan Politano was an authorized person of another foreign limited liability company known as Tarpon 1V LLC. And other authorized persons were TWJ Pan Florida LLC, which is managed by Jerome Hollow, and Jerome Hollow himself, the acting current registered agent, TWJ Pan Florida LLC. Now, is this the only other property where these two men are on the same documents? No. Here is another foreign limited liability company known as Verdot V1 LLC, where the current registered agent is Jonathan Politano, the acting person, Jerome Hollow. Now, why does this matter if Jonathan Politano is on these foreign limited liability companies as either an authorized person or an acting agent with the late Tibber Hollow's son or sons? Why does this matter? As I've said before, the late Tibber Hollow was a real estate pioneer. And in the past, he had worked in many senses of the word with Donald Trump. So connecting the dots to these people and their relationships, whether business or personal, with Donald Trump is the purpose. I'm not saying anything insidious is happening. I'm not saying this indicates that these people have done anything wrong. I'm just connecting dots for you because to me, they seem really mysterious. And the one thing also about Jonathan Politano is over the last roughly 5 to 6 years, he has made several donations to Republican candidates. He's donated to figures most recently like Rick Scott and Kari Lake, Donald Trump on more than 2 occasions, and in the past, figures like Mitch McConnell, Republican National Committees, Red Conservative Political Action Committees, people like Kelly Loeffler, Ted Cruz, Kari Lake. His donations to Republicans would indicate to me, most recently of all in the last contest, that he was someone who was supportive of Donald Trump. And this property is now pending after another price cut of $1,000. This right here is Donald Trump's property. Check this out. Now, this property is unimproved. It's in need of a well, it's in need of septic, and the listing terms are cash, ownership fee simple, and this has been on the market for 522 days. I want to emphasize that I am not a real estate expert. I mentioned in the prior video I was in the mortgage industry to some degree decades ago. But all of this information is readily available to you as American citizens. I'm just giving you information. And what is fee simple? It's the most complete form of property ownership, granting the owner full rights to use, sell, lease, or inherit land and buildings indefinitely, essentially owning the land and everything on it without restrictions from a landlord or lessor, though still subject to laws like zoning and eminent domain. But here's my question. Is it possible that the people who are agents and managers of the foreign limited liability company that is a grantee on this property deed, is it possible that they would be as subject to things like zoning laws and eminent domain if it's potentially possible that they have connections to the President of the United States? I don't know. Make that decision for yourself. It's the standard for most U.S. home ownership, meaning you have total control and responsibility, including paying taxes and maintenance, with the ability to pass it down to heirs. And is it possible that a foreign LLC could acquire full ownership of such a property if one of the other co-grantees were to pass away? Is it possible that that foreign LLC could obtain the rights and the ownership of that property, although maybe not as a direct heir, but rather through specific legal structures and deed language? Is it possible that a situation like joint tenancy with right of survivorship is a possibility involving a property directly across from the President of the United States of America in the wetlands of Florida?